Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Ripto. I'm Christian and today I've got another great video for you all about ONTology. And we're also going to cover ONTology GAS, which is a native token for ONTology GAS feed. So we're of course going to look at coin market cap for price percentage, the website, the socials and that all important price chart action. Because we want to know, is ONTology worth an investment? Has it pumped? Has it dumped? And where's a good buy in and where's a good sellout? So if you want to know all that information and want to know how or if you should invest in ONTology, you need to stay tuned and let's get into the video. Welcome. So before I start this awesome video on ONTology, I must say that anything you see, hear or choose to ignore in this video is not financial advice. No, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't pretend to be a financial advisor. This bad boy is here for your educational purposes only. So with that bit out of the way and that being said, we're going to jump straight into ONTology's price percentage on coin market cap and then go into a little bit about what ONTology is on its website. So let's jump straight in. Boom. So here we are, ONTology in its price percentage, and as you can see it's had a little bit of a pump of 5.18%. Now this is not life-changing or groundbreaking, but it is good news for ONTology. Now, I must say also, ONTology and ONTology GAS are two different tokens trading at two different prices. So we're going to cover them briefly individually. But first, we're looking at ONTology, the whole bigger picture. And as you can see, from its big heyday up above around about $10, it is sitting at a pretty measurably $1. So that pretty much dropped in the height of the crash of about a 10x down. But where do we see ONTology now? Well, as I'll go through it when I go into ONTology's website, you'll see that they've got a lot of cool stuff coming out with car chips, with their gas, etc. And also where their technology is going to and how it's transitioning itself into Japan. But will that make ONTology a sleeping giant and able to get to these all-time kind of peaks here? Or will it ever get to its heyday back in July of 18? Now, obviously, this was the height of the bull run here, and it went all the way up to around about $2.50. Now, analysts and myself and others are predicting that this next part of the bull run is going to be the last part and the blow off alt top. So we could see higher prices, which would be obviously another 100% from where we're seeing ONTology now. But what we also need to look at is ONTology GAS. Now, if I just jump into ONTology GAS here, you can see that that's up 64.7%, which is quite a huge significant pump. And it's also trading higher than ONTology at $1.56. But back in the heyday of 18, ONTology GAS was not as good as ONTology and it was trading only above $2.4. And it did have a peak of that in May before we had the big crash. It was trading at around about the similar level here. Now with today's big peak, it's not even done half of that. So we could be seeing the new start of a dawn with ONTology GAS picking up momentum and flying into these high end levels here of over $2, maybe about the $2.30. But we need to look at the actual chart patterns and see where that is, which we'll do at the end. But for those of you that are new to the channel, obviously smash that like button, hit that subscribe bar, tickle that bell notification. But more importantly, you probably need to know what is ONTology and what am I getting myself into. Well, we're going to jump into the website and I'm going to give you a brief kind of information on ONTology because it is a massive blockchain provider and it is the same chain provider that's done by Neo. Neo is got the same company as ONTology by OnChain. So they do really run similar, and obviously with it being the same people, ONTology does run on the Neo platform. So let me just jump into the website and I'll tell you a little bit briefly about it because this video will drag on a lot. Boom, so here we go. We're straight onto ONTology's site and I'll just quickly give you the brief about me because I don't want to keep you too long. So as you can see, it says ONTology here is a high performance public blockchain specializing in decentralized identity and data. So what that is it's a blockchain for connecting businesses, current day businesses onto the blockchain market in order to do their smart contracts and stuff like that. But what it also offers is data privacy, which a lot of the other stuff doesn't. And this is appealing to a lot of businesses by bridging the gap in this private blockchain sector. Now, what that also will mean is that a lot of businesses will look to do a lot of deals with this because there's a lot of great stuff coming out. In fact, that it's developing a lot of different things. So if we just go down to obviously the team, It's very transparent of what they're trying to be and trying to achieve, because it gives you a great description of underneath them. It's also got some advisors that have been in the business or the industry for a long time now. And also it says it's got a little bit of the community people trading in a lot of different countries, bringing this kind of technology to where it needs to be. Now, it's got transparent milestones and they're very adaptable with how Ontology are looking to produce their product onto the business market. And you'll see this by reading their white papers, which we won't cover in this video, otherwise it'll be too long. But you can see it's a massive roadmap and they've got a lot of information on there, and you'll see all their framework, infrastructure and trust frame white papers on there. Now, also, I'll quickly scroll up to the top. We'll go to the solutions. They're looking at data marketing, data assertion, finance and automotive solutions. Now, I'll just click this quickly because this is a revolutionary kind of technology that they're looking to do. And this is to get into the motor industry chips in order to do the brains, so to speak, of new cars. And as we know, there's been a big issue with motor car chips, and the prices of cars are going through the roof. Well, they are in England anyway, due to a lot of chip shortages. So here you can see the vehicle leasing and finance, insurance, supply, all going to be sort of able to do in one kind of platform. So they really are trying to revolutionize things, which to me is a massive step forward, and is something that we should have been doing pretty much already. With the way technology is nowadays and the way things go, it should be something that we should be looking to do. Now, I'll just pop back up quickly. Now, we'll just quickly touch on the socials, but I would say if you are looking to get into this, if you dive over to Ontology, you will see on there also ONTology GAS. Now, we did say we would touch on this, and as I did pop up, you could see ONTology GAS price is trading above that. But what we'll do is we will look at the trading platform and the price chart action in that. But let's jump into the socials and let's have a look at what people are saying or getting euphoric about in the socials. Boom. So here we go. Here's Ontology. It says it's going through its 3rd anniversary. So Ontology's been around a while. So the chances of it crashing or rug pull or anything like that is just pretty much non-existent. Now you can see it's got 142.9 thousand followers. It's been around a little while, but for me, the engagement is really, really slow. For someone that's got that many followers, you'd probably want a lot more engagement. So for me, this says that their Twitter is not a social media hype platform. It's more just, I would say, a news board where another place where they can give announcements. So if you follow them on Twitter, they are followed by the likes of Pancake Swap, Girl Gone Crypto, and some of the other big names in the industry. And they are a Singapore-based platform. But what to me is more important is that they do try and be transparent on what they're doing, and they get the notifications out on these socials quite early. So if you read through, I won't go through all of it, but if you read through a lot of this, you will see that there is a lot of stuff coming out. So as for the side of the tokens and coins and whatever it is you invest in, I'm just going to jump back. So as you can see, before we go into the price chart action, Ontology is a big kind of project that's flying out there in many different fungible, tangible markets, from car computer chips to finance to giving people space and privacy data on the blockchain. It is becoming a massive solutions company in what I think is going to be the next big adaptation of everything going on the blockchain. So for me, I'm quite excited about Ontology. But it's the price chart action that really gets me if I want to invest in a company or not. The fundamentals are good, and if the price is low enough, it is somewhere I would look to do maybe a long-term investment. But let's jump into first Ontology's price chart and then briefly to Ontology GAS price chart. Boom. So here we go. We can see Ontology's price chart action now, just up here. Now, what I want to show you is, before I go into the nitty-gritty of the price chart, is where Ontology was sort of at the beginning of the year and how it did its pump before we had that big crash in around about May, and why I think Ontology is on its way back up now. So if we have a look at where Ontology's bottom was, you can see that but through its bottom around about where it was pumping before we had the crash. It's not at its bottom yet. You can see we were trading around 40 cents, say, and back in sort of like December and the beginning of January, Ontology started having its bit of pump. Now, by the time we got to mid-Feb, things were really hotting up for Ontology, and we got to the end of Feb and we had a bit of correction. As we know, we all had that correction at the end of Feb, beginning of March, and then Ontology picked up momentum and went on to produce highs of $2.60. Now, obviously it had a bit of a retracement in April, and we all know April is a bit of a dead month, and it pumped back up and put in again higher highs of nearly $3. Now, if we just have a look at the swings, obviously not the swing low, the swing high, we can see it had a big pump top here, correction, nice healthy uptrend, bit of a pump here, nice healthy uptrend, massive pump here, big correction which the whole market had, then a massive pump and a nice high. So it had really, for me, it had four big, what I would call boosting higher highs. Now, if we have a look at this kind of price action here of where we had the bit of a pump, the market is not as euphoric now as it was then, because obviously we had this big crash that has scared us a bit. But this kind of price action here for me is where it's getting to now at this level, because obviously we didn't go this low and we had a bit of a faster incline, but we've had a slower incline here. But you can see we're still now getting to these levels. You see the price now at $1.20 is at these levels here. So for me, we're only at the beginning stage here, and I would be expecting this to keep on rising and put in another higher high. So my price prediction would be I'd be looking for around about probably this level here, about $3.20. Now, obviously, I'm only going to do me and you can do you. But I have invested in this and I'm going to keep layering in till I get to about this level here. Now, for me, this is where a lot of price chart action was, and it probably still is, because even on the way down, we had a lot of power here and we had a lot of power there. So around the $1.50. So I'm looking for retracement. So I think we're going to get a retracement here. I think it's at the top because of all this price action. Now, if it breaks this resistance, I think it's going to go up to this level here, which was around about this first kind of high. So if we look to trade between the first peak and the second peak, this is what we might see here. So this is how I'm looking to patterns to trend. So I did buy a bit in, and I'll be looking to sort of dollar cost average in until we get to the height of this peak, and then hopefully we'll ride the waves up, a long-term investment, like I said, to higher high. Now, I'm going to quickly jump into ONTology GAS, because as you can see, this has been doing a little bit of the same. It had a slower momentum, but this has had big peaks. Now, it had a big peak here because obviously there has been some bullish news and stuff, and it had a massive spike volume, but it still ain't bust the $3.33 that it peaked at before. It's only halfway there. Now, I'm not investing in this at this time, because if we have a look at where the price chart action is here, it's right at the height of these peaks. Now, for me, I'd need a big kind of retracement, because obviously this is where its peaking area is. But I do think we could have another momentum. Obviously, we had a big price peak here. It went back down, traded, and started going down a little bit. But for me, I'm not going to invest in ONTology GAS, but the price action is really looking absolutely mental. And, you know, you could be looking, if it gets to these levels up here, $3.30, a massive percentage gain, because from where it is now to there, you're looking at another 118%. So you could double your money. But for me, it's not a risk I'm willing to take, because I think for me in ONTology, the original is a far better investment, looking at the charts and looking how it's going to play out. But you let me know in the comments if what you think's right. Do you believe ONTology GAS is a better investment, or ONTology itself? Me personally, I'm going more with ONTology, but ONTology GAS seems to be the flavour of the month and is trending because it's had this massive spike. And from literally where people would have brought in maybe a week and a bit ago, not even that, down here at 74 cents, and it peaked up to $2.16, you would have done 1.5x of your money, which is no small feat to sniff at. But for me, I think that big peak's going to see a bigger correction at the moment. And we're probably going to see, like I say, prices coming down to around about between the 149 level and maybe even down to put in a bigger test tracement at about the $1.20. Whatever it is you think's more beneficial out of Ontology or Ontology GAS. But one thing we always say on Crypto Ripto, and that is trade smart, trade safe.